Over 200 applications, zero good hires. There's a real skills gap in Nigeria. Someone said this, people had their reactions, there was backlash, there were people that agreed to it. And to be honest, as someone who has been on both sides of this conversation, as a hiring manager and as a job seeker, I'm breaking it all down today. Because the truth is, most job seekers do not even know where they are getting it wrong. There's a lot to be said. Let's get into it. So in this video, let's talk about what you are doing wrong on your job applications. Recently in my job, I have had to go through hiring, and it was an exhausting experience for me, going through so many CVs, and it didn't really seem like I was finding someone that matched up what we're looking for in the role. Was it that these people did not have the experience we needed, or was it just the way they were presenting themselves through the applications, be it the cover letter, be it the resumes? What exactly was the issue? So first of all, we're going to discuss the resumes, because whenever you send a job application, you obviously go ahead with your resume test. It's the first point of approach. Resumes are very important. In the same vein, generic resumes do not do you any good. If you're applying for a role that has specific requirements, they've listed out what they want the person they hire to have, you need to go through your resume or CV to make sure that you match up to these expectations, to rewrite some things, to change some things. I don't understand how you would have one resume that you send across board for every company. It doesn't work that way. Generic resumes don't get you hired. You need to make sure that your resume is tailored firstly to the company you're applying to, and also to the job title or job role you're applying to. Because if I'm a hiring manager, or as I am a hiring manager, and I'm going through your resume, but I'm seeing some things that you may have done in your past but don't necessarily align with what I need at this moment, and all your skills doesn't really show what I'm looking for, it just puts me off you. Secondly, after you tailor your resume to the particular company and to the particular role, you also need to use what I call action-oriented language. What does this mean? Rather than saying I was responsible for so and so in my past role, or I was a part of the team that did so and so, action-oriented meaning I did this, I led the team with this. And also result-oriented, meaning there are numbers, there are figures. Numbers are something that attracts me in a resume immediately. Like I said, I was hiring recently, and when I see numbers that talk about, oh, I moved this account from 600 followers to 2,000 followers or to 10,000 followers over this period of time, immediately my eye just goes to that. Because you have to know that when hiring managers are reading resumes, they are skimming through it because they have to go through several applications. So it's really difficult to go through every single line of what you write out. It's very important that there are things that can jump out at your hiring manager, such as figures, numbers, percentages. These are action-oriented language. It shows what you've done in the past. It shows the metrics, the numbers, the goals, the targets you've hit, and they are very important things that make your resume stand out and also make you look like you know what you are doing for the job that you're applying for. Also, talking about, do you need a portfolio for your application if it wasn't stated? Honestly, I do understand where a lot of people are coming from. Explicitly stated. I, as a hiring manager, would explicitly state whatever I need for your application, whether your LinkedIn profile, if you are an engineer, or a software developer, your GitHub link, your GitHub profile. If you're a social media manager or a creative, of course your portfolio is required to see what you've done, to see the accounts you've managed, to see the blog posts you've written, links to the works you've done. So I would state it explicitly. That should be the general process. But honestly, put yourself ahead of your peers. Always assume that you should include your portfolio in your resume, whether there's an attachment for it in the application page, or you can just include the link in your resume. So once they click the link, they can easily go to your portfolio. You are doing yourself a world of good. You're doing yourself a huge favor. You're putting yourself ahead of the number of people who are also applying for that same role. It helps to stand out when there's actual proof of the work you've done, where there's a portfolio attached. And so emails and follow-ups are very important. Now I've covered what you need to do in your resume. Let's talk about the email, the body of the email, the cover letter. Cover letters are where you now talk about your skills in detail, because now you've given me numbers. Through the cover letter, I can tell a bit of your personality. I can tell what your grammatical writing skills are. I can tell what you want to highlight. It gives a glimpse into your personality, so they are very important. Not all companies ask for cover letter. If it's not asked for, if you are filling a form, just fill the form, attach your resume. If it's an email they are to send, you definitely need to do a quick intro before you let them know that your cover letter has been attached. Keyword here is quick. Don't go into all the details that are already in your resume. You just need to pick up one thing, one skill, one experience that you want to highlight from your resume and talk about that a little bit. Again, to show your personality, to show that you know what your onions are, and also to give an introduction into yourself. So whether it's part of the body of the email or a cover letter, it's very important to put effort into writing that. Check for grammatical errors. It's very unseemly when I'm reading the body of your email or the cover letter and I'm seeing grammatical errors. It puts me off. I'm like, if you can't type correctly, if you don't know how to use right sentences and tenses, what are we doing here? So it's very important to check for things like grammatical errors in your cover letter or in the body of your email, to also make sure you use the right industry terms for what you're applying for. Then follow-ups to those emails are also very important. So an example I would give here is for the role I was hiring for in my job. We had sent a response to the application. We had an interview. We had basically wanted to wrap things off with this person, but she was very slow in her responses via email. The applicants took an entire week to respond back to our last email to her, which was, we want to give you an offer. That does not show somebody who, when we start working together, be good at communication. It just shows that I would have to also chase you during the job. Unless there's an extenuating circumstance that you can properly explain, it's a bad look when you don't respond to your emails, you don't do follow-ups, correspondences. I think that's a very important part as well that a lot of applicants skip out on. There was one I responded to me saying something like, I will be available at this time. No intro, no good day. I was baffled. I was like, is this a joke? Let me set the stage for you. So we had sent a booking link for the interviews. Book a time that is convenient for you, a time and a date convenient for you. I had sent this like a week before. I got some people who responded, booked their time, who also sent a follow-up email even after booking the time, which is such a good look, to say, oh, I've booked the meeting, look forward to meet you. That's a good way to end that conversation. But this particular person did not book, did not acknowledge, did not respond. And then the week after the interviews times have been booked, she now sent an email saying, I will be available at this time, and it was on a Saturday. I felt like I was being punked. I was like, this can't be real. So these are some of the things that hiring managers see and they go through. Honestly, it's a crazy industry. But as a job seeker, I understand also that things can happen. But you need to always just put your best foot forward, even in communications, in follow-ups, in keeping abreast with the company and with what they are doing. Do not include irrelevant information in your CV. Things like your hobbies, I don't think those are necessary information in CV. First of all, your CV should not even be too bulky. Your resume should not be too bulky. So when your resume is already getting too long, and then it's because you're including things like, I like reading, I like swimming, it shows personality, but those are things that should come up in an interview process. I will do another video on interviews later on, but in your CV, I don't think that's irrelevant information. Rather than that, you should add things like your LinkedIn profile, your email address, your phone number. Yes, I'm saying all this because some people do not add the contact information in their CV, and you're like, how would the hiring manager reach out to you if they want to reach out to you if you don't have this information out, or if you don't have this information readily available? both in your resume and in your cover letter and in the body of your email. You need to make sure that you are checking all your boxes. You need to make sure that all this information are accurate. And then talking about contact information, emails, professional emails, please. I've seen some funny emails. It does not look good as a professional to have, I don't know, sexy mama 123 or your G578. Emails should be your name, your surname at whatever platform or hosting platform you use. It's very simple, very straightforward. On the rare occurrence, maybe has one number or two, but it should be your name, your first name and your last name, or maybe even your first name alone. So if that's available, it should be as short and as clear and as simple as possible. That is the professional way to do it. Having silly emails do not look good on your CV. It doesn't speak well of you as somebody I would want to hire in my organization. So avoiding these mistakes can significantly increase your job application success rate. I know some people will be like, oh, that's so much work. Why do we have to be the one to check all of this? I know there is the part that the hiring managers have to play as well, which is why I understood the backlash and the double-edged conversation about what happened on Twitter. But again, you are the job seeker here. You are providing value, definitely, and the company is also paying you for your services. It's a business transaction, so you should treat it as such. Nobody has to pity you or do the extra work for you. If your email is not readily available, why do I have to be the one to search for it on LinkedIn or search for it on your CV? Like, there's a lot of other people to get through. So the chances that a hiring manager will do that is very, very low. It's better to make sure you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted to increase your chances of being hired for the role you apply for. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe for more career advices like this. You can also comment any topic you would want me to talk about or any conversations you want me to chime in on. I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye.